let's explore Shreds and 13 other spiritual poems. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Today's first poem, Shreds. What if deceit was an antidote to intimacy? Deceit is an act of betrayal that shreds trust, like the darksaber tearing out through the side of a fallen TIE fighter. Today's second poem, Sprinter. When sitting in meditation, we could become mindful of an impulse deep within that seeks to treat meditation the way a sprinter treats a race. Our job is not to ignore this impulse, nor to indulge it, nor to fight it, nor to grasp onto it. What then are we to do with it? Simply notice it in harmony with our inhalation and relax into it in harmony with our exhalation. For our job is neither. Our job is to neither pull nor push, but to notice and let go. Today's third poem, Power. Do you fancy yourself a spiritual aspirant? If so, then remember, although it could be good to be mindful of your dark emotions, of defensiveness, of fear, of pride, it is always folly to give them free rein over your choices and utterances and behaviors. If a seasoned teacher, an adept upon the path, points out a way to improve your contemplative practice, a real spiritual aspirant will react with enthusiasm, eager to apply the guidance, whereas within the heart of a fool, their inner Anakin screams, "You underestimate my power!" Things did not end well for Anakin, nor will they end well for you if you value pride over growth. Today's fourth poem, Pain. She loved to give strangers the benefit of the doubt, so much so, in fact, that when her companions would gripe of a stranger's wrongdoing, she would race to that stranger's defense, minimizing and justifying and rationalizing their misdeed. I do not think she understood, at least at a gut level, just how unheard and shut down that made her companions feel. I do not think she understood just how badly it undermined and damaged her relationships, or just how much pain it caused. Today's fifth poem, River of Life. Behold the power of delegation. For whatever task you hate, there could be a multitude of individuals who absolutely love performing that task and who do so with great skill. Whatever task you adore, there could be many who will gaze upon you in befuddlement at awe of your handiwork. It is safe to center and to flow in vulnerability and spontaneity, to give yourself to the river of life and see where it takes you, and see how it benefits multitudes with your talents. Today's sixth poem, Free. The fool defines himself by what he refrains from. The clever define themselves by what they do. But the wise have let go of any sense of self or label. They are truly free. Today's seventh poem, an open letter to Sam Harris. Dear Sam Harris, what is your opinion of Carl Sagan's explanation of the triune brain theory presented in the latter chapters of his novelization of Cosmos? Sincerely, Lama Jigme Gyatso. P.S. Thank you for writing Free Will. Today's eighth poem, Twisted. Some parents are not well, and are rather twisted, and actively strive to sabotage and undermine the future of their children. It is quite difficult to grow up in circumstances such as that. Once that abused child has grown to adulthood, the task set before them is not to change their parent nor punish their parent, but to see their parents through the sober eyes of clarity, to see their abusive parents for the broken beings that they are, like the crumpled star destroyers upon Jakku, and to also notice the feelings they have for these sad, cruel entities, to see their parents, to feel their feelings, and to let go more and more with every relaxing exhalation. Today's ninth poem, Tormentors. I am not a Buddhist fundamentalist. I do not know if there is karmic retribution or divine punishment. But growing up, many adults were cruel to me, and many of them came to bad ends. Cancer, or heart attack, or stroke, or coma, or drowning, and the like. I have stood on the metaphoric sidelines, wishing them well, only to watch helplessly as their happiness went down in flames, like attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've seen the torment of my tormentors, and I gotta tell ya, it did not reduce my suffering an iota. Suffering is not a mathematical phenomena that can be rectified with a bit of celestial bookkeeping. Actions and their causes and their consequences are messy and chaotic and unfathomable. That is why the lightsaber that slices through the untiable Gordian knot of suffering is the simple practice of silently and mentally reciting "Notice this" during each inhalation, and silently and mentally reciting relaxing during each exhalation. Do this while briskly walking around your block for 20 or 40 or 60 minutes. It will not rewrite your past, but it could make it much more palatable and your heart much more resilient. Today's 10th poem, Stress. There is no stress in life that cannot be made worse if you resist it sufficiently. Today's 11th poem, Step. Should. I wager you are far too old to should all over yourself. Should is a great big steaming pile of fresh doggy-doo. Do your best not to step into it. Today's 12th poem, Passivity. My frequent admonitions of passivity are easily misunderstood, as they are intended to modify our perception and not our action. If our actions overflow with centered spontaneity, then they could be quite dynamic indeed. Like Obi-Wan in Duel with Grievous upon the General's flagship. Today's 13th poem, Cryptic. Dear Christians, if you have trouble understanding the Pauline epistles, take heart. We all have trouble comprehending them. But where Paul writes cryptically, John writes plainly, and his writings can serve as a commentary to Paul's. Today's 14th and final poem, Investment. There are some quite skilled at cruelty who take great delight at finding the precise words to do the deepest harm. But such skill does not come cheap. It costs time and effort and creativity and trial and error and bandwidth. It is not an investment worth making. Let us conclude with a simple call to action. This podcast will never have any advertisements, so support us monthly on PayPal and like us on your podcast service to help others find us just as you found us as well. If meditation has felt impossible or boring or just out of reach, you are welcome to register at buddhajoy.org for the next series of live online meditation class webinars that meet once a week.